Let me ask you something. Why do you think it's so hard for people to get footage of Bigfoot?
That's a great question. I always wonder that too, like why can't people get good footage? And I started playing around with my iPhone 15 versus my Canon 300 millimeter lens. Here I'm showing the difference recording a hawk today. This is pretty far away. It's, I don't know, maybe about 10 acres. And I'm zoomed in as far as I can go. You can make out that it's a hawk, but you can't really see a lot of detail on it. And there I zoom in even more. Now imagine a tall Bigfoot type creature walking behind it. I feel like most people would say, "Oh, that's a person in a suit," because I can't really see it. Well, I'm not really sure what they want at that point because, you'd have to have an even more expensive camera to zoom in even more than my, $600 Canon camera. Now the iPhone 15s are actually pretty good these days. If you look, I think the iPhone 15 almost looks better. Sometimes the Canon gets a little bit more pixels. Looks a lot better that way. And a big thing is like if you were to see a Bigfoot here going behind the trees, it took me a lot to get this stabilized and to get these images. If you see something going by within 3 seconds, I'm not going to have enough time to pull my camera out and record it. It seems like a lot of people that are getting footage, it just happens to be that they're already recording and get something. If these things can smell people from miles away, it seems less likely that you'll be able to sneak up on one and be able to get really clear footage of one. But anyways, my goal with this, to answer your question, is to show what a Canon 300 millimeter lens looks like compared to an iPhone 15 from a very far distance away. And most of the people I talk to that are seeing Bigfoot or have encounters, it's about that far of a distance. They say, "Oh yeah, I just seen it poking out behind a tree, running across the road," or it was at nighttime and they're so dark you can't really see them anyways. So that makes sense on why it is really difficult to get a really clear image of something that's that far away. If these things really can sense cameras, like for instance trail cams, then it makes sense that you're not going to capture them as much on there. I'm not saying I've proven that that's true, but that seems to be the ongoing thought and theory. My thought on that was I go through a lot of the area. I believe that is considered the Bigfoot Highway of Oregon, Highway 211. Um, I think Bigfoot Highway might be 224, but very close to the Bigfoot territory and where there's a lot of sightings. I take this road probably about at least 4 to 8 times a week, and I'm always filming with dash cam because you just never know if you might be able to capture something. I think the best chances of capturing one on film might actually be dash cam footage. Or, like I said, if you just happen to be filming and it can't sense your camera. Or if you were able to get a lens that's better than a 300 millimeter. I'd love to hear different tools and things that people are using to get out there and get thermal footage, closer up footage, drone footage. I think it would be really cool to collect a lot of suggestions and create a video on that at some point on different things that you think would be the best tools to capture these guys. But yeah, today my goal was just to kind of answer that question that a lot of people keep asking me on why you can't get good footage. And again, here's an iPhone 15. I think it was the iPhone 12 that I had last, and I was really struggling to get great pictures of stars and things at night and the moon. I would always zoom in on the moon and I could barely get the little dark spots, the craters on it. But for the first time with the iPhone 15, I've been able to get night pictures like I've never been able to get before. My Northern Lights pictures are just amazing. The pictures I've gotten of the moon with it are just amazing. So the technology is definitely advancing. I've also mentioned to people that there's definitely a lot of new footage coming out on YouTube of people with Bigfoot sightings. And it seems like it lines up. It would be about this distance and about that kind of clarity. And people are still not satisfied. The ones that I've talked to, and they say, oh, well, that's still a man in a suit. So I feel confused sometimes because they say, oh, we want a picture, but now you gave us a picture. Well, we're not happy with that either. I was talking to a guy today, said, if I see one, I will just shoot it because I think that's the only way we can have proof. And I'm not sure that I agree with that, but, I also understand what he's saying. They basically won't believe it until they have a body. But I'm going about this in a much more peaceful way, so that is not my goal at all. I hope if I ever do see one, it's a peaceful one. Maybe they don't want to be filmed. Maybe you won't see one unless you agree to them that you will not film them. Who knows? But I do a lot of wildlife photography. I wouldn't call myself a professional, but I do spend a lot of my time out there with different cameras and doing different photography. So my goal today was just to share my little bit that I did know. And after this, I'm going to show a few pictures of the iPhone 15 of the Northern Lights that we got in May of 2024. Thank you for watching.